Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for each life path number for this new moon solar eclipse that's going to be occurring on February 17th, 2026. This is massive energy that we're going to be working with, so we're going to break it down. Before we get into the forecast, and this, of course, is a general reading. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. My information's in the description box below, and I'd love to work with you. Also, timestamps are available, so please check the description box for those. Also, I'll have them pinned in the comments section. So let's go ahead and take a look. Life path number 1, you all are going to be working with a vibration of the 12-3. And so this is one of those times where I would say somewhere in your life, you're going to be asked to hit the pause button and to become very present within that situation and to find your flow within it. A lot of times it's hard to find our flow when we are hectic or just focused on the bigger picture or the goal. And so this energy is really asking you to just pause and survey your surroundings, like survey the landscape and see where things are flowing and see where things are not, where things are stuck and where things need your attention. And this is not a process to rush through, even though you may want to. This is one of those cycles that allows you to take your time to make sure that, again, where you're investing your time and energy not only makes sense, but feels aligned and feels good and, again, is sort of flowing. You might not have all the pieces or have all the answers yet, but there's still a flow to it. You're not sort of forcing the situation. And this opportunity to sort of reevaluate or contemplate this situation could actually open you up to a new way of approaching it or a new way of doing things that can bring in different results. So, sometimes it's hard for ones to slow down, but this is one of those times where, especially around wherever this comes in for you, this is your time to not see it as punitive from the universe, like, oh, okay, all of a sudden I'm hitting a brick wall. No, just hit the pause button and see what the energy is trying to show you, because it might be showing you a better way to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish. And so the question becomes, what's needed in order to get yourself into a greater sense of flow, where you feel like you're working with the universe and not against the universe, and you feel like you're working with yourself and your higher self and not against yourself. So it might require some important decisions to be made. It might require you speaking up for yourself, for you advocating for yourself, for you communicating those needs, and perhaps even like sort of creating a line in the sand and saying, this is what I can do, or this is what I can bring to the table, and I'm not willing to do X, Y, and Z more, right? So it might just require you, again, advocating for yourself, speaking up, but understanding what those needs are, and then being able to effectively communicate those to whoever you need to communicate them to. The polarities of the situation might feel really distinct at this time, and you might be very aware of the polarities within that dynamic. And I would say, embrace those polarities, right? There's always going to be sort of dark and light and challenges and ease. And so the question becomes, how do you embrace it all? Like, how do you work with it all? How do you incorporate it all so that you don't let one of those polarities drive your actions or drive your energy or drive your emotions? So really good reflective opportunity at this time. And I would say take the invitation. I pulled a tarot card for you all and you got the Strength card. And so again, this is just indicating that you really need to pull from your inner strength during this time. And really I kind of see this as like not being overly impulsive or stopping yourself from being overly impulsive when it comes to whatever it is that you might be being asked to kind of slow down with. So you might have to pull from that inner strength to be the bigger person in a situation. You might need to pull from that inner strength to initiate the difficult conversation that needs to be had, or to try something new and do something different that might be something you hadn't thought of or might be outside your comfort zone. This energy is just asking you to embrace that and find that inner strength to do what feels right, even if it's uncomfortable. So I hope it's a great one. Take care, ones. Bye for now. Life path number 2, you all are going to be working with a vibration of the 13-4. So there could be some shakeups that come in around your foundations, around your home life, around this eclipse that are showing you or indicating where there needs to be some significant change or transformation within, again, either like your foundations, your home being like the physical structure of your home, or your body even. You might find out you need to have some kind of surgery, or you might find something out about your health that needs your attention. And this is one of those energies that, when it comes in a cycle, it can feel a little bit jarring at first, like a little bit like kind of knock us to our knees a little bit. But the beauty of this energy is that it helps us to find a solution. It's a very solution-focused energy. So when we move through a cycle like this, again, when the information comes in, it can feel a little bit like, jarring, but it's going to help you to find that solution that's needed so that you can build that stronger foundation with wherever this comes in. Now, it might be around relationships. It could be around your emotions and your emotional maturity and how you react or respond to things. Maybe some things will come up for you around your, early childhood that you haven't dealt with that are emotionally are charged, and you need to kind of address that. You need to work through it. So if this cycle feels very sensitive for you at this time, just move with the energy, right? This is a great time to connect with a therapist or a healer or someone who can help you to sort of put a name to those emotions and to manage those emotions and work with them and feel them in order to heal them, right? But just kind of keep in mind, if something does come up for you around this eclipse, again, that kind of knocks you off your feet a little bit or knocks you off out of balance, just understand that it's not punitive. It's helping you to find a greater solution so that you can see different results. And with those different results can build that stronger foundation. Because wherever this comes in, like, it's not going to come in if things are going well, if things are working in a certain situation. So it's only going to come in and really kind of have that dramatic effect where it needs to shake things up, where it needs to create that sort of extreme transformation or change to get you on a path that is much more aligned, right? Or that is much more beneficial for you, maybe in the long term. And maybe you don't understand why it's happening at this time. But just know that your soul's not setting you up for failure, and neither is the universe. And so the energy doesn't work against you. It's what you choose to do with it. So I would say if the roof starts to leak on your house, then make sure you get it checked out. If you start, if something crops up physical or health-wise, make sure you get it checked out. Don't let things go that your attention is brought to around this eclipse, because addressing it early will help you to get a handle on it and, again, find the solution that suits you best, that works best. Now, the other side of this is this energy can be showing you where it is that maybe you're stuck in something, maybe you're overly focused on something or sort of set in your ways with something. This energy can come in again and kind of break you free from that sort of crystallized way of thinking or those actions or those behaviors, in order to help you to see that there's a better way. There's a better way to do whatever it is that you might be doing. You've got to just kind of maybe think outside the box in order to do that and not be overly rigid or stubborn when it comes to changing your behaviors or how you're showing up to that situation to make that happen. The other side of this is, if you've been procrastinating, if you've been kind of hemming and hawing when it comes to making a decision or taking action or finishing up a project or something like that, this cycle will likely give you the boost that you need or the motivation that you need. It might be uncomfortable motivation at first, but I think you'll see the beauty in it. But it's going to give you that motivation to stop procrastinating, get focused, get dedicated, and complete whatever this is, to see it through to completion. Now, I pulled the tarot card for you all, and you got the 10 of Pentacles. And so this indicates that, again, it's foundational. There's something here about longevity, about security, a sense of security. Also can be inheritance. So some of you may see an inheritance come through at this time. And like I said, that can be jolting, right? Because usually with an inheritance, there's some kind of loss. So there might be something you have to move through there. But understanding that there's, with that loss, there's also some kind of gain, right? That can help you to create some kind of greater solid foundation and a sense of security. But the other side of this too, with the 10 of Pentacles and the 13-4, The 4 energy requires us to put in effort, to show up, to commit, to see it through to completion, and to build something sustainable and that will last the test of time. And that's also 10 of Pentacles type of energy. So whatever it is that you're investing your time and energy into will be worth it for you to stay committed to it for the long haul. It will pay off. You will see the return of investment, but you're going to have to dedicate yourself and see it through to completion and not give up too early. And what you're working towards is that greater sense of security, that greater sense of success, maybe even also. But it's something that there's a strong foundation to. This is not something that's built quickly or overnight. This is an overnight success. This is something that comes to you that you will have to figure out how to manage or work with or build in a way that is solid and secure and long withstanding. So very powerful energies here for you all to use. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 3, you are going to be working with the vibration of the 14-5 for this eclipse. This is one of those energies that can be very creative, can be one of those energies that looks to break you free from something that has been holding you back or keeping you feeling stuck. But ultimately, it's that energy that says, dream really big, think outside, the lines, think unconventionally, but also stay rooted in reality. So there's this energy of how can you bring your ideas to life? And it might be that you start small. It might be that you just take the first step. It might be that you're just, brainstorming. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a creative project. It can be something that you've wanted to get started on. Maybe it's remodeling your house or painting your house or getting new furniture or whatever it might be, or planning a vacation or something like that. And this energy is saying, think big, think outside the scope of what you think is possible, but also stay grounded in understanding that you can dream really big, right? And you can achieve what you're dreaming for or aiming for, but you have to be practical in your planning, right? Like in your strategy, like how are you going to achieve it? First, you've dreamt it up. Now, what are the steps that are necessary in order to bring it to life? So it really is this, it's interesting because it really is this kind of like Saturn conjunct Neptune type of energy that we're also going to be working with around like the 20th. So you all are very much aligned with that energy with this 14-5 because, Neptune is the energy sort of the 5 in a sense in this context, where it's the dream, right? And then Saturn being the vibration of the 4. So it's bringing that dream, doing the work that's necessary to bring that dream to life. Maybe it's about having children. And so you're starting to have that conversation. Maybe it's about buying a house. And so you're starting to think about, what do I need to do in order to make that happen? What are the realistic steps? What's standing in my way? What are my limitations? Right? So as you kind of move through that, you can figure out what's necessary. You can start to create the plan. And then you can commit to it and start taking the steps. And that's going to move you towards achieving that dream. But understanding, because of course you have the vibration of the 4 here, which is like that Saturnian energy, that it's going to take time. So whatever you sort of initiate under this eclipse is very, very possible to achieve. But it will likely take time. It'll take effort. It'll take time. It'll take commitment. It'll take overcoming obstacles, overcoming self-doubt in order to achieve it. And you're going to just have to continue to persevere, right? If you want to achieve that goal. But there's a very beautiful balance here with this energy that's saying you can have whatever it is that you want. You can have whatever it is that your wildest dreams, but it's not going to be handed over to you. You have to decide what you need to do or understand what it is that's needed in order to achieve that goal. Then you have to start the process of building, right? Of putting in the effort to move that. And it might just start out with very small steps, and that's okay. The energy of the 14-5 is saying, dream the dream, right? Get the plan in place, have your strategy, and then take the first step. That's all that's needed. Take the first step, because then after you take the first step, you can take the next step. So you don't necessarily have to put a timeline on it. You just have to get started. And getting started, like I said, could just be the brainstorming side of things. And again, this can show up in any area of your life where it needs to. So maybe you've been wanting to change jobs. Then, start to think about the kind of job that you want to have. And then what is needed in order to actually achieve that. It's not that kind of energy that says, this is what I want, and so it's just handed over. The 14-5 doesn't work like that, and life doesn't really work like that. So the 14-5 helps us to get serious about the goals and the dreams that we want to actually see come to life, that we want to see come to fruition. So this is such a powerful time for you all threes to really think about what is your goal? Like, what is it that you want to achieve in certain areas of your life, and what's needed in order to get you there. I pulled the tarot card for you all, and you got the Hierophant. And this to me just kind of brings it back to the need for structure, the need for like a system to be in place, very 4 energy, basically. And so you might have to kind of follow the rules, follow the traditional way of doing something in order to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. You might not be able to skip the steps or break the rules in order to get there. Or you might not be able to be so unconventional that it just doesn't make sense, or it's unattainable because of that unconventionality. Like, people might not be ready for it, whatever it may be. So there is this element of like tradition or like systems that need to be in place in order for you to achieve whatever this is. This can also put you in some kind of leadership role. And it can be, again, leadership within your own life, or leadership within some kind of group dynamic. Or even a job or something like that. But people might be looking to you for the guidance that you have to offer, so the advice that you have to offer around some kind of a situation. And so I would invite you to step into that leadership role with confidence, and to know that if people are coming to you for your expertise, it's because they trust what you have to offer. So trust yourself in that process as well. I hope it's a great one. Take care, threes. Bye for now. Life path number 4. So we're going to be working with the vibration of the 15-6 for this eclipse. And so this is an interesting energy because it's basically asking us to look at, where is it that we are self-sabotaging? Where is it that we are creating this self-imposed prison that does not need to be there? So that can be through, having to grapple with self-doubt or lack of confidence, or failing to assert ourselves or speak up for ourselves, or go for that promotion, or, you know what I mean? But where is it that at the end of the day, if we really take a close look, the only thing really standing in our way is ourselves? And then what decisions do we need to make, and actions do we need to take in order to break free from that? And sometimes it doesn't happen overnight. It usually doesn't. It's one of those things where it's like we start to recognize where it is that we're tripping ourselves up, or we're standing in our own way. And then we start to take steps in the other direction. But that's going to take practice, and that's going to take putting ourselves out there and trying the thing, and, working smarter, not harder, and not being overly stubborn or rigid when it comes to trying new things, or, trying to do something maybe a different way. And if we get stuck in our ways, or if we get stuck sort of with tunnel vision, again, a lot of times that can kind of trip us up, and it can keep us in this sort of cycle that is not moving us forward, but it's keeping us stuck, and it's leading to frustration. So this is an opportunity to take a kind of a closer look at that, and then start to figure out how best to, stop the cycle, stop the loop. So it's very possible during this cycle, and you may see this come to light, where maybe some long-held views that you might have may change, where you might have newfound beliefs that can set your mind at ease and sort of eradicate those old fears that have been coming in that kind of make it difficult to take that decisive action, or to take the leap of faith, or whatever it may be. Ultimately, this energy, especially for 4s, when it comes in a cycle, is just helping us to break free from old patterns, old behaviors, just staying in the box. Right? 4s are definitely meant to break out of the box and to be a little bit more unconventional, a little bit more, you still keep the systems and the, like the operations and all of that in the organization, but to be open to trying new things and doing things differently. And sometimes when we lose that sense of control, and a lot of times doing things differently, we don't know how it's going to turn out. So it can bring in that fear. There may be some areas in your life where you've got to try something new. You got to do something a little bit different. You've got to maybe take a different approach. And this energy can help you to see where you might be tripping yourself up and keeping yourself stuck. So again, during this cycle, you might have to make some significant decisions and take some very decisive action. And it's really going to be important to decide whether those experiences that this period brings in are limiting you or setting you free. And you want to move in the direction of being set free. Also, I would say with this energy, even if it's uncomfortable, I would also be cautious of this when as you move through this cycle of chaining yourself to things or people that place you in a position of servitude, right? You want to be cautious about signing contracts or agreements, anything that's going to put somebody above you. You want to make sure that what you're signing onto creates a partnership. And you can have like a manager or something like that. And technically, they would be above you in rank, but the dynamic should be one of partnership, right? Leading alongside of each other type of thing. So I would just say, make sure that if you are signing anything at this time, make sure that you're looking beneath the surface to see the situation as it really is, using discernment and making sure that you're being taken into consideration when it comes to that contract. I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the 3 of Wands. And so there's something here where, again, it's like you maybe have been doing the same thing on repeat, or maybe you just keep showing up in the same way. And it's time to break free from that and move forward. It's definitely time to try something new, to look at the horizon and throw yourself into something totally different, maybe. Something that just doesn't feel as safe and secure even. Something that really is more spontaneous, perhaps. There's a call for that at this time. There's something, you've accomplished what you're looking to accomplish in this particular area. And now, your mind wants that expansion. Your soul wants that expansion. So it's time to take the step in the direction of the unknown, charter new territories, look for new experiences, and then throw yourself into those experiences. Because we go through experiences throughout our life of being the beginner, but we're not the beginner forever. So this might be one of those times where we have to throw ourselves into that beginner mode and learn what we need to learn to become the expert in that area or to become more well-versed. But this is definitely a time of new beginnings or an opportunity for new beginnings. And they might be really scary or uncomfortable at first because there might be a lot of unknowns. But this is the time to take the leap of faith. This is the time to do the thing, to say yes, to throw yourself outside of your comfort zone. And, you're going to be fine. You just got to take the first step and overcome that fear, not forgetting that you're going to be taking the wisdom that you already have accrued with you to this new thing. So, it'll come in handy. So very powerful energy here. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 5, you are going to be working with a very robust energy of the 16-7 for this cycle. And the fact that this is an eclipse as well, this can come in very, very strongly. So the intensity is sort of magnified with the 16-7. The 16-7 in tarot is signified by the tower energy. So that kind of gives you an idea of what to expect here. And really, it's more about the aha moments, the awakening, the understanding, the clarity that can come in like a lightning bolt. And that can be clarity around direction. Maybe you've been confused about what to do next or what your next step is. You could absolutely get some divine clarity that comes in like a lightning bolt at this time. Your job is going to be to follow that understanding, right? That new awareness, and to decide what steps are needed to move in that new direction. So with this energy, not only does that clarity or aha moment kind of come in like a lightning strike, but then you're kind of being asked, now what are you going to do with that awareness? What are you going to do with that clarity? And again, because this is an eclipse, this is a storyline that will likely open up over the course of the next 6 months to a year, if not longer. And so this could be the start of something quite significant in your life. And with it being 16-7 energy, there's a very strong spiritual component to this. So this new awakening, this new understanding will likely be very divinely guided, meaning you could get insight into what's next in your purpose, like what's next on this path of purpose. What can you do that will help you to feel more deeply in purpose with the work that you do, or how you show up to your relationships, or the kind of relationships that you allow into your life, that sort of thing. So there is a very strong divine spiritual element with the 16-7 that says the information that you receive at this time is for your highest good and is meant to help you to evolve, help you level up, so to speak. But that leveling up isn't always easy. A lot of times there's a lot of shifts and changes that are needed. in order to start on that new path. And that can be where it becomes more difficult, right? And nothing you can't handle, but this energy will help you to see what are the next steps, what's needed, what direction are you meant to be moving in, what can you see now that you weren't able to see before, and now what are you going to do with that information now that you have it. So pay attention to the insights that come in for you around this eclipse. It can be through your dreams. It can be through something that happens in the physical. The 16-7 is a very physical type of energy. So, something might happen with your relationship or a job or physical health as well. Something can come up that needs your attention, and you might want to, I would say, definitely explore it so that you can find a solution or a way to manage it in some way. But the clarity that comes in will be something that you can't deny. It's something that you can't ignore. It's that intense. But it doesn't have to be like, it's not to scare you or anything like that, right? It doesn't have to be like bad or anything like that. It's just the universe trying to get your attention around something. It's helping you to, again, sort of level up in some area of your life, to move in a different direction that's much more aligned, to push you, more towards that alignment, push you more into purpose. So for some of you, you might tap into gifts that you didn't know that you had that are very innate gifts. And then it's going to be your job to figure out how to work with those gifts, what to do with those gifts. And this isn't something that happens overnight. Again, this is the start of a storyline that will unfold over the next coming years. But this is the initiation point. So for some of you, this can be a very spiritual time, a time for the initiation of a spiritual awakening, a greater self-discovery to the nth degree. But again, keep in mind, it's going to be what you choose to do with that information, that understanding, that awareness when it does come in for you. It's very multi-layered, right? So you have the awareness come in, then it comes down to, what am I going to do with this? What are my next steps? And so very, very powerful energy here. I would say don't force anything around this eclipse, right? If it flows, then put your energy there. If it doesn't flow, don't force it. There's a lot of energies at play for you all around this eclipse. And so you want to be open and receptive to what is trying to come in for you, to what the universe is trying to show you. And then be open to exploring that, embracing it, deciding how to work with it. But if you're too focused on what, trying to make happen what you want to make happen, you might be missing out on the bigger gift of what this energy can bring in for you. Very, very, very powerful cycle here for you all. And at the core of it, it's that depth of greater understanding of self, right? That greater self-discovery that's possible during this time. And sometimes that can be very challenging initially, but as we move through that, as we come to understand it, it can actually be quite empowering and quite powerful. So a lot of internal stuff probably for you all around, even though there's a very strong physical element to the 16-7, there's a lot of internal stuff. So this is about going really deep, getting in touch with your shadows, embracing your shadows, going deeper into your own psyche, asking yourself the bigger questions, being open to the answers that come through, and then deciding how to work with those answers. Now, I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the Lover's card. And so, for some of you, the 7 energy can absolutely bring in soulmate, a soulmate, a deep divine connection. That's very, very possible. And it might be for some of you that you meet someone that completely turns your world upside down, but in a good way. They're a catalyst for helping you to understand something more deeply about yourself and the world around you and others. So that's very, very possible. Also soulmate type of energy, again, divine connection, very, very possible, especially with the Lovers coming through. But the other side of this Lover's energy is some kind of choice or decision to be made. And I really see this as it correlates with the 16-7 energy as being the aha energy, or the clarity comes in for you. And now you have a decision to make or a choice to make around what are you going to do with that clarity now that you have it. Because sometimes that clarity can throw us for a loop because it's not what we expected, or maybe we were expecting it, but we weren't ready for it. We didn't feel ready for it. And it might be about leaving a toxic relationship or a toxic career or something like that. So those things can certainly come up around this, but you're at the helm of your ship, and you're going to have to make some decisions that will help to move that ship towards calmer waters. So that's very, very possible at this time as well. But I would say just be receptive, be open to what presents to you at this time, because it's for your highest good, and it's helping you to eventually get greater footing in this area of your life that you didn't think was possible. So it can be very, very empowering. Hope it's a great one. Take care, fives. Bye for now. Life path number 6, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 17-8 for this illumination or for this eclipse. And so for the next 6 months to a year, as this eclipse, this new storyline sort of opens up for you, you all are working with some really powerful energy here of this 17-8. And so with this 8 energy, I feel like there could be some things coming in for you around career, around how you contribute in the world, how you show up, how you share your gifts, how you make money, how you share that money, what you do with that money, your relationship to that money. Also, power dynamics could come into play full force at this time. So there may be things with the justice system that comes up. There may be things maybe that you have to iron out with maybe your boss or colleagues, where there's some power plays at play that are out of balance and need to be addressed. Anywhere where, maybe you've been giving your power away or someone has been taking advantage of you, that will likely come into play around this time for you to see, how can I take my power back? What do I need to do? And so, it might be legal action. It might be that you need to seek a therapist to find the tools in order to reclaim your power. The 8 energy, when it comes through in a cycle, is really helping us to reclaim our power, right? To, whether it's our power when it comes to our finances, our material, wealth, our place in the world, our security, our sense of security, that sort of thing, as well as autonomy and how we speak up for ourselves, how we, take up space. And so this could be one of those times where you're really being asked to be your own best advocate for standing up for yourself. And again, if you're in a situation where you feel like you're being taken advantage of, especially as a 6, and I say that because 6s tend to struggle with setting those healthy boundaries, right? Having those healthy standards. And it's just a journey that the 6 has to kind of move through. And balance giving with receiving and taking up space and standing up for yourself and owning that space and not apologizing for taking up space. You know what I mean? And so as you move through an 8 cycle, it can really kind of put a greater emphasis on where it is that you need to step more into your assertive nature, where it is that you need to, speak up for yourself, all those things. So for some of you, this might be that time where, you want to go for the promotion. You want to put yourself out there in some way. And I think that you have the potential to be quite successful with whatever you initiate at this time, especially because of that 17 vibration. The 17 is very benefic. It's like the star card in tarot. So it's very much like wishes being granted, dreams coming true, like things falling into place. And, money, gifts, advancements, promotions, anything is possible at this time. And so you just have to kind of ask for it. You have to be open to receiving it as well, but you need to just kind of put yourself out there and ask for it. And anything is possible under this cycle. So this is one of those cycles that says the only thing that's going to keep you from getting what it is that your heart desires is you. So if you don't ask for what you need, then you're likely not going to receive it, right? You might say, well, I can do it on my own, and you can, but why work harder, not smarter? And so this is one of those times where I would say, if you have an opportunity to ask for what you need from someone who has what you need, ask for it. This is a time to ask and to receive, which can also be a little bit difficult for 6s. So really an opportunity over the course of the next, I would say 6 months to a year, to flex that muscle, to, again, stand your ground, to take up more space, to ask for what you need, for recognizing your worth, showing up in confidence. All of those pieces will be coming into play under this illumination for you all. And I think you'll see, like I said, I think you can see some good success come from this cycle. You have to show up and do the work, obviously, but you have literally the universe behind you, helping you to make it happen. I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the Queen of Swords. And like, yes, this is such queen energy, like, and especially the Queen of Swords, right? Because the Queen of Swords is very direct. It knows what it wants, is looking into the future with very clear, very clear sense of what they want. And they know what they need to do in order to achieve it. And there's no holding them back. It's a very clear, decisive type of energy that is very firm. And so there's something here about finding that level of confidence and being decisive and standing behind that decision, whatever it is that decision may be for you, and not letting your judgment get clouded by the noise, right? Believing in yourself, trusting yourself, but having that goal in mind and then staying steadfast on that goal. And this actually works really beautiful with the 8 energy, because the 8 is also about achieving your goals and, creating that vision and then moving towards that vision and having the strength to continue to persevere through the highs and the lows as you move towards that goal. So with the Queen of Swords coming through, there's something that will likely come up for you where it's very clear what the next step is. And you just have to find your confidence to take that first step in that direction. Very, very powerful energy for you all around this eclipse. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 7, you are going to be working with the vibration of the 18-9 for this eclipse. So I would say this is going to be an energy that is asking you to do more of what heals you, right? And what I mean by that is say yes more to the things that just embrace your spirit, that make you feel good, that calm your nerves, that regulate your nervous system, that brings you peace, that brings you harmony. And it might not be, obviously, with everything going on in the world, something that you can maintain 24/7. But this cycle is helping you to come back to those spaces, to make it a priority to carve out the time that's necessary to be able to embrace that healing energy. And so this might mean, taking time to spend in nature, even if it's after work, going for a walk in nature, maybe lighting a candle or incense or meditating or reading a good book or, whatever speaks to you, taking a bath, I don't know, right? Like whatever speaks to you. And it doesn't have to be like you're doing this 24/7 again. It's just like something where this cycle is helping you, especially over the course of the next 6 months to a year, to start to get into a pattern of putting yourself and your health and your holistic health first. So making that a priority. And so again, I would say take the time to, even if you have to schedule it in your calendar, schedule in me time and then use that time accordingly, right? Even if it's just an hour a day or something like that, or 5 minutes a day, kind of spread out. And eventually you'll start to see like, oh, when I do this for myself, I feel better. When I prioritize my mental health, my emotional health, my spiritual health, my physical health, I feel better. Then I'm more equipped to face the day. I'm more equipped to handle whatever's thrown my way. And you're less likely to get depleted that way. So this is a great kind of muscle to start to flex if you haven't been. And certainly becoming more present will also help with that. So if you find yourself constantly worrying about the future or stuck in the past, this cycle can help you to become very, very present so that you can be in your body and you can recognize what it is that your body needs in order to feel holistically healthy. And then you can start giving yourself that. This can be a very spiritual time as well. So your dreams could be really active at this time. You could notice that you have a lot of insights or your imagination might be running wild. And I would say write some things down, right? If they come in for you, they feel like insights, they feel like downloads, they feel like something that you can maybe work with in the future or some kind of creative project you might want to initiate in the future. Write it down because it might be something that is important to you as you move forward. And when you move through a 9 cycle, especially as a 7, the channel is wide open, the veil is thin. And so anything that's kind of coming through now that feels like an idea or an inspiration, or something that motivates you can absolutely be coming from your higher self, right? It can be a directive from your higher self saying, we're ready to do this. Let's get started. And the other thing I would say about this cycle is this is a beautiful opportunity to get organized. Organize your life, right? Set your environment in order, clean your house, organize your desk, finish up odds and ends, finish up those projects that maybe you've been procrastinating on. If anything in your life, sort of any area of your life feels chaotic, this is a time to get it in order, whatever steps you need to take in order to do that. I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the Four of Pentacles. So there's something here that you might be clinging to or holding on to really tightly. And usually when we do that, it's usually out of fear of loss, fear of the unknown, fear of like what could happen. And so we'll use money as an example, right? Because it's the Four of Pentacles. So, but it can be really show up in your life in any way it needs to. But there might be, maybe you have fear of lack. And so when money comes in, you kind of hoard it and you deprive yourself of things because you have fear of not having enough. And so that keeps you from experiencing life and living your life because of that fear. And so maybe it's with a relationship. Maybe you're in a toxic relationship or an unhealthy relationship, and you have this fear of losing this person or this person leaving you or cheating on you or whatever. So that drives that relationship and you're clinging to it. So then you might be manipulating it or controlling that dynamic or trying to, which of course is not healthy and can have a greater effect on that relationship. So the Four of Pentacles coming through, there's something here that's asking you, what is it that you are clinging to sort of keep yourself safe, but it's this perception of safety that's not real. And you're actually holding yourself back. You're actually sabotaging yourself. Where is it that you need to loosen your grip a little bit and surrender to what you can't control and understand that you'll be able to handle whatever comes your way because you always have. So there's definitely something here about loosening your grip a little bit, letting go, sort of that letting go and letting God type of energy, right? Like see what the universe can do for you and don't feel like you have to do everything yourself. But clinging to anything or overly attaching to anything keeps us from actually living because it's usually driven by fear. So if you're struck by fear and it's keeping you from taking the necessary risk in order to, step into the next chapter of your life or the next phase, then this is a time to kind of deconstruct that fear and see what you're actually working with and what's actually holding you back. So very powerful energy here, sevens. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life path number 8, you are working with the vibration of the 19-1 for this illumination or this eclipse. And so this really feels like the world is your oyster under this energy. So the reason why I say that is because the 19-1 is about big new beginnings and regeneration. So constant new beginnings, right? So we start something new and then we take another step in a new direction, another step and another step and another step, and it just continues to grow and expand. And so you might find in your relationships that there's a tremendous amount of new beginnings, new growth, new opportunities, or in your creativity or creative projects, in your career, in your home life, anywhere in life that this needs to show up for you. You are sort of in store for a lot of new opportunities, new beginnings, fresh new starts. And your job, of course, is to say yes to these new beginnings. First, you're going to have to overcome any fear that you might have. And what I mean by that, of course, is like with 8s, a lot of times you're asked to take risks and to do things and try new things, put yourself out there. And with risks often comes success, but often comes failure. Not failure, but the highs and the lows. And sometimes when we hit those lows, it can keep us from taking the risk in the future. And so then when you have a 19-1 cycle come in that's full of new opportunities and new beginnings and needing to take those risks again, you can feel kind of stifled a little bit, like you're afraid to do it. You're afraid of what might transpire from it. But that's sort of the nature of your journey, especially as an 8, is to take those risks, to continue to put yourself out there, to learn from what didn't work and then build upon what did work. And so when you move through a 19-1 cycle as an 8, this is that opportunity to take new risks, say yes to new beginnings, try something you haven't tried before. And those opportunities will likely present for you, but you're going to have to overcome any self-doubt, any fear, any lack of confidence that might be keeping you from saying yes to those opportunities. Some of them might be out of your hands though, or out of your control, right? Like maybe you get laid off and then you get a job that's across the country. And so you have to move, right? And it's a job that you want to do. And so you feel called in that direction. And so that new start, new opportunity, sort of your hand was forced a little bit, right? But anything is possible under this cycle, but I wouldn't anticipate some new beginnings, new starts. But your job is to say yes to them and to make the most out of them and overcome any obstacle or fear that might be standing in the way of you saying yes to these new opportunities, new beginnings. And these new beginnings can bring in a greater sense of vitality, excitement, motivation for some creative projects that maybe you're working on or whatever it is that you're looking to pursue. And I would also say just be careful about being overly impulsive during this time. Don't burn the candle at all ends. Just make sure that you're also including time for ample rest and rejuvenation, because this could be a very busy time for you. And you just want to make sure that you're not like biting off more than you can chew. Just pace yourself, take your time. There's plenty of time, right? You don't have to rush and you don't have to do it all at once. So don't try to. But ultimately, this cycle requires your courage, your faith in yourself and your abilities and what you bring to the table. It's going to require you to be somewhat strategic, but it's also one of those cycles that promises great rewards after overcoming any obstacles. It is a karmic cycle. So, there might be things that require a little bit more effort from you than maybe you're used to or what you maybe would want to put in, but it will be worth it. So I would say go for it. Also, this is a love vibration. So for some of you, you might be meeting someone, connecting with someone, taking a relationship to the next level. That's very, very possible at this time. And because that 9 is involved, right? 19-1, this could be like some kind of deeper soul connection. So this isn't kind of that placeholder kind of energy. It's that deeper soul connection. That's very, very possible. It can come as a friend, a pet, a romantic partner, a business partner, but there's some kind of deep, deep connection that's very, very possible for you to connect with at this time. And again, it's eclipse, so it can be over the course of the next 6 months to a year or beyond, but you're definitely working potently with this energy for the next 6 months to a year. I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the 8 of Cups. And so it's interesting because with the 8 of Cups, there's something about, walking away from something, releasing something, letting go of something that can actually be quite difficult to let go of. There's a deep emotion tied to whatever this is. And it's interesting because this coupled with the 19-1, what it sort of indicates to me is there's likely going to be some kind of opportunity, new beginning, new start that will come in for you. And you're going to have to make a choice. You're going to have to make a decision. And that decision will likely mean, you're going to have to say goodbye to something. You're going to have to let something go in order to say yes to this new opportunity. And so it could be that, again, maybe you get a job offer, in another country. And so you have to say goodbye to friends and family, not forever, but at this time, right? In order to say yes to that job. So there, and there can be some deep emotions that come up with that can be challenging and difficult. And you can either let that keep you from saying yes to this beautiful opportunity, or you can recognize it that this is a beautiful moment and honor the emotions that come up for you. They're very valid, but don't let those emotions keep you from this next step of your journey, this next chapter. And I would say weigh things out accordingly, right? Like, understanding that, okay, if I say yes to this, I may have to say no to this. And I might have to walk away from X, Y, and Z to say yes to A, B, and C. And, honor the emotions that come up with that, but don't let it discourage you from taking the next step for doing the next thing. Because otherwise it's just going to keep you stuck in a loop that is no longer for you and no longer serving you. I hope it's a great one. Take care, 8s. Bye for now. Life path number 9, you are going to be working with a vibration of the 22, so 202 for this eclipse. And so for the next, I would say 6 months to a year, relationships are going to be at the forefront for you. So connecting with others, how you show up to relationships, new relationships could come in. And again, it can be business relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, you name it. The art of relating to another is really going to be sort of under the microscope for the next 6 months to a year as things unfold for you. But there's the vibration of the 0 here. So this is like new starts, new beginnings, doing things in a new, fresh way, right? Showing up to a connection in a new, fresh way, meeting someone that maybe, or connecting with someone maybe that you wouldn't normally connect with, and really learning something from that person and them learning something from you, and that dynamic. This is also one of those times or cycles where you could feel like you're being faced with a lot of decisions that need to be made. And so you might find yourself throughout the course of the next 6 months to a year at various crossroads that really require you to make a decision, to decide which way you want to go. And then once you make that decision, to not second guess yourself, but to stand firm in that knowing that that decision is what's best for you in this moment. And then once you make that decision, taking the appropriate steps that will help move you in that direction. But I would say, this can be a time that feels like relationships and decisions go hand in hand, meaning that some of those decisions might affect your relationships. And so it's not going to be something where, though the decision has to be yours, it may not be something where you can make the decision without taking others into consideration. And it becomes a little bit tricky because you don't want to become easily influenced by the external, right? When it comes to making decisions that you feel are best for you at this time in your journey. But because this 2 energy is so prominent, you're going to have to take into consideration like how your decisions will affect, or how your actions will affect those that are involved. And that's going to be really, really important. So it's sort of this opportunity to find that healthy balance between doing what's right for self while also taking into consideration others. And again, not being easily influenced or manipulated by others to do what is in their best interest, but you actually sort of surveying the landscape, deciding what it is that you need, having the conversations to understand what others need, and seeing if you can't find that compromise, that common ground. So there is going to be that element there, and that can bring in some added stress or difficulty, but it's just a matter of sort of, figuring it out and working through it, and doing so in a very non-emotionally charged way. Meaning conversation is going to be your best friend. And if you don't get the response that you're looking for, understand that you get to choose how you engage, how you participate. So if there is a relationship or a connection that's not working, that you feel disconnected from, this may be a cycle where you start to move away from that connection. That's very, very possible. Though relationships can be coming in at this time, certainly some could be leaving at this time. That's very, very possible. And of course, in that process, there's always decisions to be made. So I would just say, take your time. Don't be overly impulsive. Don't be overly reactionary during this cycle. Be as open and as understanding and as able to compromise as you can be, while also not sacrificing yourself or your needs. That's going to be really, really important to get the most out of this cycle. It's interesting because I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the 5 of Swords. And so with this energy, it's really that be careful about the need to be right. Be careful about, getting what you want at any cost or all cost. Be careful about needing to sort of dominate the environment, the dynamic, the relationship, where again, it's your way or the highway. And sometimes that can happen with 9s. If you've become overly cynical, if you've become overly pessimistic, especially when it comes to relationships, if you enter into some kind of connection for fear of getting hurt, you might try to manipulate or control that dynamic. And it might become that situation where it's like, I have to, it's my way or the highway. I have to win type thing. And you will, of course, sever relationships in that way. So with the 5 of Swords coming through, it's just that reminder that compromise is going to be your greatest asset during this cycle. Working with others, finding common ground, right? The need to be kind outweighing the need to be right, and sort of picking your battles, maybe stepping off of that hill that you said that you chose to, that hill that you were going to die on, and not being overly stubborn, just being open and receptive will really, really serve you during this cycle. There's going to be a lot of potential to connect with others, collaborate, work together, share ideas, And it's going to be conversation and compromise that are going to be the winning ingredients when it comes to these relationships and these connections. So be mindful of where your stubbornness is interfering with your connectivity. Take care, nines. Bye for now. Life Path 11-2, you all are going to be working with a vibration of master number 22-4. 22-4 is the master builder. And so this is an opportunity for you all over the course of the next 6 months to a year to take your inspirations, take what inspires you, and to build from that, to build something from those inspirations that's real, that's tangible. And so you may find that over the course of the next several months to a year or beyond, that the pieces to the puzzle start coming in that will help you to understand what's needed in order to bring those ideas or dreams to life. And you're going to be sort of at the helm of that ship. So you're going to have to call in the people. You're going to have to ask for what you need. You're going to have your plan or strategy in place in order to make it happen. And collaboration is a big part of this. So you're not meant to do it alone. You're meant to recognize where you may have limitations and where you can call in others who have strengths, who can help you to fill those gaps. But this is about thinking in broad, sweeping terms. This is about thinking and dreaming big, but then staying practical in the execution of that. So understanding that, you can have whatever it is that you're dreaming of. You can make your wishes come true, but you are the one who is going to have to put in sort of the elbow grease and really put in the effort to make it happen, because it definitely can't happen without you. This is one of those energies that I love to see come in for 11-2s, because for 11-2s, you all are meant to follow your inspirations, to do what inspires you. And a lot of times we keep ourselves really small. Like, we might have big inspirations and ideas, but we have that self-doubt. And so you might not chase those dreams. You might not go after those opportunities. You might talk yourself out of it. And when a 22-4 cycle comes through, especially at a time of an eclipse, this is, again, opening up a storyline over the next, several years for you potentially. So when this comes in, it's helping you to get your footing, to start to see what's needed to turn those dreams and ideas, those feelings into reality, to birth them, to bring them to life in some way. And it sort of gives you that confidence, that faith in yourself, that motivation to get started, to make it happen, to start that process. And because it's 22-4 energy, whatever you initiate at this time, whatever is opened up to you and you start to explore or invest in that, it's going to take time. The 22-4 energy it's a legacy energy. So it's something that will take a long time to probably complete, but it's something that once you have it built, it will stand the test of time. And so this can also be about relationships. It can translate into any area of your life that it needs to. But really, again, because this is coming in for you 11-2s, you are the inspirational leaders. And this 22 cycle is giving you an opportunity to build something tangible from that inspiration. Is it going to be easy? Probably not, right? Anytime we're working with 4 energy, things are slow. It takes time. You have to be persistent. You have to be dedicated. You have to see it through to completion. There's usually challenges and obstacles along the way. But the 22, that energy promises great success and longevity. But of course, you're the one that's got to show up and put in the hard work to make that happen. But your dedication, your effort, your what you put into this, you will see that tenfold come back to you. Maybe not right away, but absolutely in due time. So if there's something that you want to see become more sustainable, if there's something that you want to see take root, then this is the time to start that process of making that happen. So again, if it's relationships, you could be taking that to the next level. Marriage might be on the table. You might be adopting, something like that. Something that is laying those roots, right? Getting very grounded, creating some kind of legacy. And you have the support from the universe to do that with this vibration behind you. You just have to kind of overcome any self-doubt, any lack of confidence, and take the steps necessary to to put the wheels in motion, because the pieces to the puzzle are here. You just have to figure out where they go now. Now, I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the High Priestess. And this is interesting because with a 22-4 energy, it absolutely requires you to follow your intuition. And the High Priestess is really that energy, right? Coming back to yourself, coming back home to yourself, to follow your inner guidance, to follow that inner compass, to trust how you feel about something, how you feel guided with something, because that's going to be what's best for you. And so there's this really strong element of following that intuition. Once all the facts have been collected, marry those facts with your intuition and you will make the best decision possible. And you just don't want to override your intuition because it's such a stronghold here. And again, with a High Priestess coming through, that's just that reminder that's telling you, what's best for you. You know what you need to do. The question is will you do it? Will you say yes to yourself? Will you say yes to this opportunity? Will you say yes to whatever it is that you want to see grow? Because it can't grow without you. We come back to that. This can be a very powerful material period, meaning, again, you're bringing things to life. You're turning ideas into reality. Again, not overnight. It's something that'll take time, but this is such a great point of initiation, or can be such a great point of initiation. But it doesn't happen without staying true to yourself and following that inner guidance of your soul, right? Your intuition. So beautiful energy here. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now, 11s. Life Path 22-4. So we're going to be working with the vibration of master number 33-6. So this is an interesting cycle. And again, this is happening at the time of an eclipse. So this is opening a new storyline for potentially the next 6 months to a year. But this is a cycle where we're really being asked to pick our battles, so to speak. And so there's this energy of what is important to you? What is worth defending? What is worth fighting for? What is worth standing your ground with? And where is it that maybe you just need to let go and let be? And making that decision can be difficult. And so you've got to kind of follow your heart and follow your intuition and your inner guidance, as well as, understand the information that's being presented to you. But you can't fight all the battles, right? You can't die on every hill, so to speak. And so, there's really this energy of, if it's important to you, if it's something that you feel very strongly about, then yes, stand up for yourself, hold your ground, don't give in too easily. But if it's something that, you're just fighting this battle and you're constantly showing up and investing your energy and your time and your resources, and it's just leaving you drained and you're not seeing anything in return, then this is one of those cycles where you might fully be able to release that or start to move in a different direction. So it's really that energy of just, what is what are your values? What is your worth? What is it that is important to you? What is worth standing up for? And and those things, the things that come in for you that you're like, yes, this is really important. This is something I want to, get behind and really stand my ground with. Do that. Don't give in too easily. I would say don't give up. You'll find your way through it and you'll find success through that. But again, those things that you're just showing up to out of obligation or because you feel like you quote unquote should, but it's just leaving you drained, then this is a beautiful cycle for releasing that. This is one of those times where I would say, don't drain your energy on things that don't fill you up or things that weigh you down. Set it down and decide later if you want to pick it back up. If it's not meant for you, if you're not meant to carry it, then, let it go. Let go of it. You're not meant to carry the weight of the world. One person cannot save the world. And so focus on the things that you have control over. Focus on where it is that your contribution is needed. Focus on the things that are flowing, that are working, where you can, gain some momentum, that feel aligned, that feel purposeful, and put your energy there. So it's really kind of that energy of stand your ground for things that are worth fighting for, but be careful about pride. If you're doing it just because you want to be right, you're going to face a lot of backlash with that, energetic backlash. Pick your battles. And also understand when it's time to kind of sit down at the table and compromise, find that common ground where your way might not be the only way or the right way even. So there could be some opportunities for self-reflection here, or again, reevaluation to make sure that, where it is that you're standing that ground is where you want to be standing. Also, I would say with this energy, you could see a lot of responsibility coming in for you, or other people may need you more at this time. They might lean on you more. They might need your advice or your expertise or your assistance or help with something. And this is one of those times where when you're moving through a 33-6 cycle, the energy or the focus is meant to be outward, like it's meant to be on others. How can you nurture? How can you assist? How can you show up in support of? And so any way that you can do that during this cycle or this time, stepping into a purpose greater than self, right? Being in some kind of a support role, and kind of maybe stepping back a little bit from the leadership role, that can actually work wonders for your connections, as well as opening you up to new opportunities, new ideas, and new ways of doing things. So special situations or experiences that occur during this time can actually help to open our eyes to what's possible, right? And it can actually help to set us on a new path that is much more purposeful, much more purpose-driven. And if you've kind of felt directionless, this cycle can really help you to get very much aligned with the direction that you feel your life should take in this moment. And it can kind of set you on that path. And it's interesting because I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the Fool card. I say you all, me as well. We got the Fool card. And so this is that energy of taking that leap of faith, taking a risk, trying something new, trying something different, thinking outside the box, not being so sort of headstrong or stubborn. But recognizing where we need to stand our ground, but then also recognizing where maybe there is a better way. Maybe there is, a different way to approach this, or a different way to do things. And so taking that leap of faith, being a little bit more spontaneous, throwing caution to the wind a little bit during this cycle can be really beneficial and really helpful, especially when it comes to like things that bring you joy, things that make you happy, things that light you up. So finding that work-life balance is going to also be really important during this cycle. So make sure that you're taking care of your holistic health. Don't get into the workaholic mode where you're neglecting your home and family or your, again, health. And I think if you can do that, you'll get the most out of this cycle. So big energy. I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 33-6, you all are going to be working with the master number 44-8 for this eclipse. And so this is going to open up a storyline for the next 6 months to a year for you all that will give you an opportunity to maybe take a look at or reevaluate your current circumstances and where you find yourself at this point in your journey. This is an opportunity to maybe contemplate the value of the rewards that you see coming in. In other words, do you feel happy with what your efforts, your energy are producing, are bringing in? And if not, then that's an opportunity to reevaluate and maybe make some changes or look to see where some shifts can be made in order for you to feel more aligned. So if at this time you feel a little disconnected or discontented, and you feel like maybe you want to give up on something that you've been pushing towards, or you feel like you want to kind of sit back and do nothing because when you put in the energy, you don't see the return of investment, or it doesn't feel as gratifying as you had hoped, this would be a good time to establish new priorities, set new worthwhile goals, do things or say yes to things that put you into a place of purpose or feeling like you are in purpose. And again, it's not going to happen overnight, but there might be some reevaluation that needs to take place and some changes that need to occur in order for you to step into that alignment. And so basically, in a nutshell, this energy is saying if you don't like what you're getting in return of your investment, right, whatever you're putting your energy towards, if you don't like that return of investment, then this is a time where you might want to shift gears, change direction, figure out what's not working. Where is that misalignment and why is it there? And also, what do you need to do to address it so that you can make different decisions and take different actions to get different results in the future? But it might just be that you've met your goals. Now you're just kind of like in the routine and, you're getting maybe stagnant in some area and you just need a refresher, or you just need to spice things up a little bit, or you just need to try something new or branch out. And this cycle will help you to see where it is that you are limiting yourself and maybe keeping yourself from that expansion and that growth, which in turn could bring in a greater return of investment, or at least a different return of investment. This cycle has the potential to bring in the missing puzzle piece, the missing link that can help you to understand the bigger picture and to help you to make some decisions that will possibly change some of the goals or the directions that you've been moving towards. Now, if you are someone who is in a flow state and things are moving great and things are working, you could actually see things really pick up at this time or solidify. You could see a lot of things come to fruition at this time. You could see things becoming really tangible and actually seeing those tangible rewards or that return of investment. And it can feel very gratifying and very, you can feel successful from those rewards coming in. So it just kind of depends. This can either be an opportunity for you to shift gears, move towards different goals, set different goals for yourself, move in that direction, or it can be this time for things coming to fruition, gratification, the rewards coming in, and sort of the rewards from your efforts coming in. I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the Knight of Swords. And so what this kind of indicates to me is this is not a time for impulsivity. This is not a time to be too rash, to be too impulsive, to take too many risks that are high stakes without due diligence, like without really having a strategy at hand. Because you will have the potential for some buyer's remorse. Because one thing that this 44-8 energy is not is fast. So whatever you initiate, whatever you start to build at this time is going to take time. You're not going to see those results quickly. So do your due diligence, take your time, be methodical, take things step by step, get your ducks in a row, make sure that you're clear-headed when you go to make a decision, that you feel grounded and you know sort of what you're getting yourself into. Just be really careful about impulsivity during this cycle, because the opportunity to miss things or to wish that you had taken your time are pretty great during this time. So just just pace yourself. There's no rush. If one of the puzzle pieces hasn't found you yet, it's because you're not ready for it yet. So no need to force, no need to rush, no need to be impulsive. All right, I hope it's a great one. Take care. Bye for now. Life Path 44-8, you are going to be working with a vibration of the 55-1, and this is an energy that you've worked with before, so it's coming up in another cycle to really sort of get you focused and kind of drive these energies home. And because it's happening at the time of an eclipse, this is likely going to open up a new storyline that will continue to unfold and take place over the course of the next 6 months to a year or so, and maybe beyond as well. But this 55-1 energy gives you an opportunity to get very clear about the direction you want to be moving in, where it is that you want to invest your time and energy. And that clarity can help to drive your decisions and your actions, and it should. Your job will be to overcome any of the self-doubt, the fear that might arise when, this clarity comes in for you. It might feel overwhelming at first, but if you kind of dissect it and break it down, you can see that it's manageable. You can figure it out. You can find out, what's needed and then take it step by step, by piecemeal, right? So that you can decide what's needed, how you need to show up, what you need to do. You can get your ducks in a row and you can strategize in order to figure out how to make it happen. But once that clarity comes in, it's going to be really hard to shake off. So it's likely going to push you in that direction. So your job is to make sure that you don't stand in your own way. This cycle can also bring in the opportunity for greater recognition, accolades, rewards of some kind that you've earned through your leadership skills or through your efforts. And that can not only feel rewarding, but it can also possibly open up some doors for you that you wouldn't have expected to be opened. Now, there is the possibility of some endings or closure with this cycle. And so one thing I would say about this is if things come to an end at this time, then that's suggesting that you're through with the elements of that relationship, of that situation. And so you need to find a way to kind of close that up and release it if that's what the situation is calling for, without becoming overly attached or clinging to it or trying to force something that is no longer for you. You don't want to get into a situation where you're saying no to the opportunities that are presented before you because you're stuck in the past or hoping to continue with something that, again, has run its course. So this is one of those times where I would say if something falls away now, let it go. If it's meant to be in your life, it'll come back. It'll find you. Ultimately, the keynotes of this cycle are curiosity and exploration and staying adaptable through that process. You could find yourself set off on a new journey during this cycle that can absolutely require your energy, your effort, and can prove to be quite successful in the long run, I would say. I pulled a tarot card for you all, and you got the King of Swords. So again, this is clarity. This is being in the present moment and making decisions and making very firm decisions, being decisive, but being very clear about what you want in this moment, not too worried about the future, not overwhelmed by the future, not living in the past, but very present and being very clear on what your needs are in this moment. What are your goals in this moment? Because this is where everything's happening, right? This is where it's at, so to speak. And so this cycle will bring you back to the present moment, especially with the King of Swords coming through. That clarity is coming in for you to be able to make those key decisions that can put you on the path of purpose, right? Stepping into something that feels purposeful, stepping into something that feels very much aligned for you. Because again, that clarity comes in for you and you're taking action from it in this moment without overanalyzing or over worrying about what could happen in the future. So if you start to go down that rabbit hole as opportunities present during this time, bring it back to the present moment, because that's the only moment that you have control over. And that's where that clarity sits. That's where you can make the most informed decisions. And that's where you're going to need to come back to in order to make the most informed decisions. So try not to overanalyze it or overthink it, right? You don't want to convolute it before you even get started. Don't be the one who clouds your own judgment. All right, I hope it's a great one. Take care, 44s. Bye for now.